Then the second one I have is, there's a lot of banging and construction going on. I sent numerous emails over the last year and a half, just trying to find out what the status is. I can't continue to operate the district attorney's office, sharing desks, the overcrowding, it's not safe, and there's no end in sight because nobody's given me any indication of what's going on. I couldn't properly budget for anything that's there. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm getting, what's going on, and I know you have a whole bunch with children and youth and everything else. It's just that I can't emphasize how much of a critical level we're at. When I have victims sitting in and amongst the attorneys, when I have immense overcrowding during criminal pretrial days, I have people sharing desks. I don't have a desk for a part-time employee to sit at. It's beyond, I can't function.
I have my view on what's going on here, and I said, this pertains to one of our motions that's gonna be on here, and I said, I mean, I've been dealing with this since last October, and this move, who's moving where, and I think like the last couple months, I've been asking structural questions that I have not gotten an answer for yet. And one of the things that I look at, like if the clerk of courts would move downstairs, that could be an estimate, my estimate of $400,000, because it's a big job to move somebody down there. And if that would be something that would be in the works, that would work out for her and you, and how the space would open up, but I have not gotten any information on that. And I think, as everybody's seen, we cut a lot in the budget. I don't think we have $400,000 on unexpected expenses next year to do this. And I still haven't got this answer, you know, on what we're doing there. And I said, I got a blueprint of it. I got a diagram with a couple beams going across it. This is an issue where probably the weight is probably 4 times what my pickup truck is. And I get a drawing of 3 or 4 beams going across to do this. And there's all together, I mean, we have engineers and everybody coming in here. And when you do something like that, if you put a beam on top of the floor, now you're going into that, you need a ramp. You gotta have an 1 inch per foot ramp. This is something that's unexpected, that's all the way through. And I just can't see, you know, diminishing the integrity of the building itself. I mean, the building was built over 100 years ago. And I think we have to make a decision on it. And to me, it's status quo right now, unless they would prove to me. And like Mike, I've been asking them for months on this issue, and I still have not gotten an answer. And that's where I'm at. And I see your view, and I see the clerk of court's view. But I can't make a decision on something like this. How can we make a decision? Like I said, we tighten our belts up. Now we're going to loosen our belts up for $400,000 to be wasted. I don't know. Maybe it's not wasted. It might be a good idea. But until I have these numbers, we don't even know if this is even feasible. You know, we have all the other documents that they're going to do the wiring. They're doing all this other stuff. But one little thing that I asked for is not here. And why? And that's where I'm at, Mike. I mean, I see both the views.
And I'm not in a debate over the clerk's office or who gets what particular office and everything. I just need a functional space. I don't think I could divide it up. Obviously, for what the work we do, we need to be in the courthouse. And I think, but my concern is, I've been asking for this for over a year. The probation office is vacant. We're renting office space. You've paid how many millions for a building that there's 10 employees in, an entire building.
Yeah. And
I have 15 in my office, sharing desks. Labor and industry comes in, we're done. I don't know what more I could do. That, you know, this is something that needed to be budgeted, needed to be looked at, and when I saw this budget come out and check along, as best I could, I can't follow all those things in there, and I'm just expressing that, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm not, I do the emails because I don't want to be here. I have too many things to do in that office. I don't want to be here addressing it to you personally, but I'm left with no other choice. And the only step that I could go on after this, if nothing's going to get done, is that I'm going to have to seek redress with the court system. And then there's an order directing it.
Yeah, no,
And I don't wanna go that route, because I think it's not the way these things are supposed to be done. I'm basically begging. You have to do something. It's the same office when we had one judge, and I was part-time when I was here. I'm the longest tenured one in that district attorney's office. We had one judge. We have three now. The caseload, obviously with three judges, has tripled. I have more employees, and we're in there on top of each other. It looks like a dump. I can't function, and we have no place. The confidentiality, everything is just, and I'm waiting. That's why I don't have security. Anybody could come through my doors. Looks like the Beatles' help house, where all the doors open and everybody's in there. There's no security, and I'm not gonna spend the money to put something in place when something's has to move. I'm not gonna go down that road. Not that we're unsecure. Obviously, I have a county detective that's armed, but it's just that something I need a plan. If you had a plan and say, we're going this way, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're getting there, but there's been nothing. And I don't think it's fair to the employees that are up there or to me. I really don't, not at this juncture.
We do have a motion on the floor to proceed, if it passes, to proceed with an engineer to do the structural study in one room in particular, to see if it would hold the filing system, let's put it that way. You know what my feeling is? It's an embarrassment. It's been a year and a half. We still don't have that. You know, my intentions are still to move the clerk of courts to the first floor and expand your office upstairs as well as the IT upstairs. So as soon as we get that report back and if we can move forward. And you saw, you know, because we did cut so much out of the budget on the construction over there, or what we were gonna do. You take notice, our maintenance people have been over there tearing out the old carpeting and looking at the walls now, and the wallpaper's coming off, et cetera. So they are working over the next month or two. Hopefully we'll have that ready for occupancy. We're gonna level that one floor. It's just a matter of building it up about 1.5 inches or so.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that step that's in there and everything.
So-
And I appreciate your time that you gave me to this. I don't wanna, necessarily come here, and I know you have difficult decisions to make with this. There's only so much office space in that building, and our courts have grown. I understand that the sheriff's office needs space. We're all burdened with space issues, and I know it's difficult decisions. I'm just saying, I really feel at a critical level of my office, and I do appreciate you guys listening to me.
Mike, I'm gonna make a comment. Since adult probation's departure up until really probably this past week, since last week's motion, there was fully functional and operational space down there. No one was prohibited from utilizing that space. No requests came saying we want to use it. There were requests for permanent relocations, but no one said, I need space, can I use the old adult probation area until such time as decisions are made to clarify the way ahead. That space is there. It's fully functional operational space up until just this past week.
It's functional, but not the ability to utilize it for our office when we work out of the files that are in there doesn't make sense. That we have enough time to look through our files to grab what we need to go to court. Then we're gonna be going downstairs to have two attorneys down there looking for what files they have on their desk, and back and forth and up those steps. It's not, I understand that there is space, but to divide up an office to utilize that because I'm at a critical situation, I don't think it's feasible, and it's not fair, because
That's
once I go to do that.
Making, Mike, that's a choice you made. You're looking for optimal versus adequate at a time of dire need. When there's a time of dire need, I'm gonna go with the minimal, not the optimal, because the optimal isn't available at this time. Hopefully it will be available at some point, but that point isn't in the near future. And that space was operational, functional space that unfortunately wasn't taken advantage of.
I know what you're saying when you're saying optional, but you can't sit there and say to divide an office in half to utilize that space. You proposed that at a meeting.
Right.
I said, well, why don't you move the commissioner's office over there and you split the space?
I don't
Give
recall
us this
that
one.
comment.
Oh, yeah,
I remember the
recall it
conversation. I don't remember you saying
But
split
you
the commissioner's office.
You can't function in dividing an office in half over 2 floors. You can't do that. It just won't function and work. When you could move another office. That's where the problem, therein lies the problem.
Well, you can't move the office that you're proposing. It doesn't work. It wouldn't be functional space for that other office.